Some people in China, they have been talking about reducing the importance of English learning in the K-12 education and also reducing the importance of English in the college admission exam. What do you think about that?
So I think this fits with this notion of sort of nationalism and a period of isolationism. So if you change the college exam and don't have English, it is going to take away the drive, in part, that families feel for the importance of English. If you de-emphasize it in the K-12 system, it again is going to change the drive for learning English. I do think that represents a sort of a China closing itself to the world, in that English becomes a bridge to be able to connect with foreigners in many cases, with different books and journals and articles and news stories. But there definitely is an active trend in the system to be limiting the importance and access to both English instruction in the school day and potentially the importance of English as an exam subject. I don't think, even with those regulations, you can kill the demand for English. It's like telling a kid you can't have ice cream, right? Kids love ice cream and they want to have ice cream. There's something about English in China where there is a desire to have it. There's a desire to watch English movies. There's a desire to be able to watch short English videos. So I think it's hard to sort of stop the demand and the desire for English in the same way that the young kid wants to taste ice cream.
Xi Jinping will be in power for quite a while. While at the same time, China's development is a fact, and we can see probably nationalism is going to continue rising in China. In the future, do you think that Chinese interest in learning English is going to rise or drop?
I don't think it's going to drop. I think the government could try to have it drop, but I think just the demand is going to be there. People continue to want to travel. When people travel outside of China, English becomes a tool to be able to engage more easily in many parts of the world. People want to be able to have access to information. English becomes a door to access to information. Many more educated families want their children to have an opportunity to study in another country. English becomes a tool to be able to study in another country. Even with a rise of nationalism, I think English will continue to be important. If you look historically at periods where you couldn't study English, people still wanted to study English. In fact, Voice of America in its early days was providing radio programs for people to learn English that they could access through ham radios and other ways, and they continued to learn English even if it wasn't sanctioned or desired by the government. So I think the demand for English will continue. Well, a lot of Chinese elites, both from the private sector and the public sector, have wanted their children to study overseas, and many have studied at great schools in the US or Australia or the UK, in part because there is a value of that education for their children. So it is a double standard if one were to say that should only be for the elite, but others shouldn't have access to that.